Good morning, everybody. We've got a lower trade in the grain markets here early on Wednesday morning. It is about 6:30 a.m. Central Time. December corn futures down 2 1/4 at 367. November soybeans are down 1 1/2 at 10.18 1/4. December Chicago wheat down 3 1/4 at 554 3/4. December Kansas City wheat down 1 at 490 3/4. December spring wheat up a half cent at 540 1/4 as I speak here early this morning. China bought more U.S. corn and soybeans yesterday. USDA confirmed sales of 140,000 metric tons of corn and 260,000 metric tons of soybeans to China. Also, unknown destinations bought an additional 320,000 metric tons of corn and 264,000 metric tons of soybeans. So that's daily. The totals for just yesterday, about 18 million bushels of corn and 19 million bushels of soybeans. So strong export demand continues here. Now, we are going to have a real nice window for corn and soybean harvest here over the next couple of weeks. We've got a much drier looking forecast. If you look at the map that goes all the way out through the first week of October, most of the corn belt's going to see less than an inch of rain during that time frame. So in total, most of the corn belt will see less than an inch of rain during the next 14 days. There's going to be a lot of corn and soybeans harvested during this time frame. Now, there will be some wetter areas like really far north and then really far east, and then the southeast will be wet. But in terms of your very key corn and soybean growing areas, your Illinois, Iowas, Indianas, into Nebraska, Dakotas, they're going to be pretty dry here during the next 14 days at least. So that begs the question, what impact does harvest pressure have? You've got to imagine that maybe it would have a little bit bigger impact on the soybean market. You got to think most farmers are probably of the opinion here or mindset that they'll sell soybeans out of the field because you've got high prices, you've got little to no carry in the market. There's no incentive to store these beans. Corn is the crop that probably goes in the bin here. So I would almost venture to say that harvest pressure could have maybe a bigger impact on the bean market, but could affect both markets, certainly. EIA will release weekly ethanol data later this morning. Ethanol production has stagnated in recent weeks. I've talked about this a lot, and usually, in a normal year, you wouldn't talk about ethanol production a whole lot because it's pretty steady. But this year, it's a big deal because of this COVID issue, because of the fact that gasoline demand across the country is still running like 5, 6, 7% below normal on a weekly basis. So we just haven't returned to normal in terms of driving habits here in the United States, and that's a big problem. I've discussed at length how we lost 400 or 500 million bushels worth of corn demand in the old crop marketing year. We're very likely to lose at least a couple 100 million bushels during this new marketing year, if not more. And of course, this is a fluid situation. It's changing all the time. But this is a big problem. We'll get an update on that situation a little bit later this morning. Soybean crush in Argentina was down 20% in August versus the same month last year. So during the first 8 months of the year, total Argentina bean crush is down about 9%. Now, you've got to remember that Argentina's crop last year was down more than 11% versus 18-19. So you've got that. You've got some issues that they've been dealing with financially. They're in the midst of a recession. They have been for a couple of years. They've got a lack of foreign currency reserves. And Argentina is the world's top exporter of processed soybeans or soybean meal. Then you look at the U.S. meal market. It's at its best levels essentially since August of 2018. So you're at 2-year highs in meal prices. October grain options expire on Friday. Make sure you take a look at any remaining open positions there. Looking at a December corn chart, there's a couple of things that stick out to me. That high from Friday, 379 1/4 December corn, that's kind of your high water mark here. That's your big resistance area if we were to see a rally. Now, we've got a trend line in place on this December corn chart that sits at about 365 today. So you would really like to see December corn futures hold that 365 area. We were able to hold it overnight. We're sitting a couple cents above it here as I speak early this morning. Soybean market, same kind of deal on the charts. That high water mark from Friday, 1046 3/4 in the November futures contract. That's your big resistance area if we were to see some sort of rally return here. Underneath the market, you've got a trend line that sits at about 10.07, and of course it's an uptrend line. It moves higher every day, but a trade below that could inspire some additional selling. Certainly, we got within 4 cents of that overnight, and again, that 10.07 number rises every day. Wheat prices have improved. We're down a little bit this week, but we saw some multi-month highs as recently as Sunday night. Global wheat prices have improved quite a bit. You've got some crop issues in Russia, Ukraine dealing with some dry weather, so the wheat market's acted a little bit better here. There's a lot of carry in these winter wheat contracts, especially in the more so in the Kansas City market than in the Chicago market. So keep an eye if you're planting winter wheat right now. Keep an eye on those, say July 21 contracts. July 21 Kansas City wheat's at 516 this morning. That's one of the better levels that we've seen as of late. Cattle market was mostly lower yesterday. Cash cattle, I think, has traded just some light volume at 105 this week. The board October future settled at 106.47 yesterday, so we'll see what develops today. Big gains in the hog market yesterday. The October and December contracts both up more than $2.50. Ahead of the cash open, the stock market is higher. The Dow's up 215 points. The S&P's up 15. Bonds are a little bit higher here. We've got the U.S. dollar about flat. Crude oil's up 10 cents, 40.20 in the December WTI. Gold's down $14, back below that $1,900 mark. If you would like some more information, as always, you can visit my website, www.standardgrain.com. Go to that website, click on Grain Marketing Plan. If you'd like to know what I'm doing when it comes to grain marketing throughout the year, corn, soybeans, and wheat, it's broken down every day in my morning email. That's part of that subscription. It's broken down by percentage, by crop year. It's very specific. It's easy to follow. You do not need to be a futures or options trader to participate. You can just sign up for that service. You can cancel it at any time. There's no obligation. There's no other additional fees or anything. So if you need some help, certainly check that out. Everyone have a wonderful day today. I will talk to you same time tomorrow.